Welcome to the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm Tammy Stacklehouse, fibromyalgia coach, author, and founder of the International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute. The goal of this podcast is to empower you with access to the dream team of experts and coaches I've discovered are key to living the fibro life you love. From the comfort of your own home, and maybe even your pajamas, I'll help you take back control of your life and health. To help out with fibro fog, I always include full show notes and additional resources at fibromyalgiapodcast.com. Welcome to the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm your coach, Tammy Stacklehouse, and this is episode 2 of our special Be a Coach series. In this series, I answer questions about our Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor class and what it takes to be a Certified Fibromyalgia Coach. I cover all the basics, the who, what, when, where, why, and even the how. If you are not curious about these topics, if this is not for you, that is absolutely okay. Feel free to skip this episode and the other episodes in this series. We are still releasing our regular episodes every other week as usual. So skip these, listen to those. If you are curious, of course, this is for you. One last thing before I begin. If you don't understand what a Certified Fibromyalgia Coach or a Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor is, just pop back 2 weeks and check out episode 1 of the special Be a Coach series. That is exactly what I cover in episode 1. Today, I'm covering the who. Who makes a good coach? Who makes a good Certified Fibromyalgia Coach? Who makes a good Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor? And how do you know which one you might be? I'll also share what I look for in the applications I accept into the training program, plus what you need and don't need to join us as a coach or an advisor. Let's start with what I look for when I'm interviewing student applicants, because honestly, it's really pretty simple. I only look for 2 things. Well, I look for more than 2 things, but these are the 2 things people have to be accepted into the program. Number 1, I look for somebody who truly has a heart to serve and help others. Number 2, I look for someone who cares about being correct and precise, who cares about having and giving correct information. So let's talk about those. Yes. It is absolutely possible to make good money as a coach, even as a fibro coach, but you can't do it without truly serving people and caring deeply for them. The foundation for any good coach is love. Yes, of course, there's skills in there too, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but without love, well, your clients can feel it. And as coaches, our job is to help our clients get what they most want. This could be being healthy enough to help out with a first grandbaby, or having enough energy to travel, or being clear-headed enough to excel at the careers that they love. So in the end, of course, it's all about them. And if you don't actually care about them, or you care about making money more than you care about them, well, what are you doing? Coaching is also sometimes a hard job. And unfortunately, not everybody wants to do the work to change their lives. Not everybody wants your help. And it can be heartbreaking to have people that you can help just decide they don't want your help or they don't want to change. So for every person who decides that they don't want your help, you can go back to that love and that care that you have, and you can remember all the people you did help and all the people you will help in the future. Your love, your caring, your passion for serving the people you haven't even met yet is the most important thing that'll keep you moving forward. And let me tell you, that is why I am here right now talking to you. Because I care about you deeply, and I know I can help you feel better. So it helps me to keep showing up every week, recording these episodes, putting information out there, sharing things, writing books. It's what keeps me going. Now, number 2, as I said, the second thing I look for is somebody who cares about being correct. I'm not talking about somebody who has to be right all the time, although this kind of can sometimes look like that. What I'm talking about is somebody who really cares about having and giving correct information, about being precise, about paying attention to those details. The reason for that is because we are educating people on their health and on their fibromyalgia. Of course, no, we're not doctors, but we do want to make sure that the information we're teaching our clients is correct because we're talking about their health, because we're talking about a specific medical condition. We can't just be almost right or close enough. Correct matters, right? I listen for this when I'm interviewing my potential students. You're the person who manages your nonprofit finances or your family's finances. Great. You're somebody who pays attention to the details. You know all your meds by name and the doses? Awesome. You're precise about things that matter. You're a nurse, a teacher, a project manager, the person who catches all the typos, right? Perfect. Details, details, details. And I know what you're thinking at this point, right? You're thinking, but what about fibromyalgia? Do I look for people who have fibromyalgia? The answer is kind of. To be honest, I get a very few amount of applications from people who don't have fibromyalgia themselves. You probably found me because you have fibromyalgia yourself, right? And most people do. So they're here because they have fibromyalgia, and so that's why they apply. But not everybody. And yes, there is nothing like having somebody who truly understands you because they've gone through it themselves, right? There's a whole extra level of understanding there. But that doesn't mean someone who doesn't have fibromyalgia can't be a great fibromyalgia coach. One of my people who became a coach applied because she really wanted to help her teenage daughter who has fibromyalgia. And she's amazing. She specializes in helping moms of fibro kids. And of course, that is the path that she walked, right? She's a mom of a fibro kid. So, of course, you have to have a certain level of understanding and compassion. And of course, it helps to have walked that path yourself, but it isn't actually a requirement. So, if you don't need to have fibromyalgia yourself, what else don't you need? Well, this may surprise you, but you don't need to have your fibromyalgia all figured out. You don't have to have everything all under control. You don't have to be fully well or in remission. Yes, of course, you do need to be well enough to keep up with the class lectures and the homework assignments or work with clients if you want to be a coach. But the classes themselves are designed to help you get better. Now, I want to quote one of my students. When she told me this during her final interview, she got all choked up when she said this. She said, "I really wasn't well enough to take the class, looking back. But if I hadn't taken the class, I wouldn't have gotten better." So remember, where you start is not where you finish. You can start before you have it all figured out, and the process itself, the class itself, will help you get better. The students who graduate from our Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor training improve their fibromyalgia impact questionnaire scores an average of about 50%. In other words, they cut their symptoms in half on average. Yes, you have to be well enough to begin. And 3 months from now, when you graduate, your fibromyalgia could be a whole lot better. We do a lot of interviews and episodes with our graduates. So if you want to learn more about this, I recommend checking out any of our Stories of Hope and Healing episodes, like episode 101. To help someone else, you just have to be a little bit ahead of them. You don't have to have it all figured out. When I first started coaching, I sometimes sat in bed with my computer, my cell phone, and a headset. I wasn't well enough to work a 40-hour job, that's for sure, but I was absolutely well enough to help someone else for an hour over the phone. I didn't have everything figured out, but I had some things figured out, and those things could be helpful to somebody else. The more people I helped, the better I felt, and the more that I learned, which led to being able to help even more people like you. Do you know we have well over 10,000 downloads of this podcast every month? It's crazy. If I hadn't started by sitting in bed with my phone and my computer, neither of us would be here right now. All right. You might be thinking, well, how do I know? How do I know if I'm well enough to take the class? And really, only you can decide for sure. Of course, you're welcome to apply and we can talk that through in your interview. And if we decide that it's not a good fit for you to start right now, we'll refund your tuition deposit. But if it does feel like a good fit, then you're off and running. And I will be getting into more details about how the class works in future episodes when I cover the how of becoming a fibromyalgia coach or advisor. But for now, I do want you to know two things. First, it's fibro people taking these classes, and it's fibro people teaching these classes. I have specifically designed all of our training programs to be fibro friendly. There are recordings you can watch as often as you want, and there are built-in catch-up weeks with no new assignments that help you get caught back up if you slip behind. I get it. I've been there. I'm a fibro person too, and I made this so you can do it. The second thing I want you to know is that if you enroll in the program and can't complete it for some reason, there is a leave of absence option built right into the program agreement. Fibro happens, life happens, and if you need to take a leave of absence and come back at a future date, that option is there for you. So let's recap. When I'm interviewing students who are applying to join our training programs, the two non-negotiables I'm looking for are a heart of service and people who truly want to help others, and someone who understands the importance of paying attention to the details and giving correct information. To recap what you don't need to have your fibromyalgia in remission or be pain-free or have it all figured out. You don't have to have it all together. And you don't have to have any prior training of any kind. You'll learn what you need to know in the Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor and Certified Fibromyalgia Coach training programs. What you do need, aside from paying attention to correct information and a heart to help others, is to be able and to be willing to show up and do the work. The Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor program is designed to take about 5 to 6 hours of work each week. This work can be done when it works best for you. It can be done from your bed, on the couch, in your jammies. You can break it up into tiny pieces. There are even those catch-up weeks for when you get behind. You also need, if you want to help others with their fibromyalgia, you need that knowledge of fibromyalgia and not just what works for you. If you're going to help others, you need to have more options available. Fibromyalgia is notorious for some things working for some people, but not others. You need to have a larger knowledge base to truly be able to go out and help other people. All of this information is provided in the 3-month Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor training program. I literally teach you everything I can about fibromyalgia in 3 months. Is it everything? Of course not. But is it enough to help somebody else? Absolutely. And this, of course, is why we have continuing education classes each month. I can't teach you everything, but we do give you opportunities to continue learning more and more. If you're wanting to coach fibromyalgia patients, especially if you want to do that as a business, as a fibromyalgia coach, you'll need the training and mentoring provided in the Certified Fibromyalgia Coach program. A lot of damage has been done by well-meaning coaches who weren't properly trained. And to be honest, I've seen the damage from both sides of this. I've seen good coaches who just didn't know fibro people, and that created a problem. And I've seen people who really knew fibromyalgia but didn't know how to coach others and how that is a problem. You really need the fibro information and need to know how to provide fibromyalgia coaching. In our Certified Fibromyalgia Coach program, our students complete a minimum of 100 hours providing fibromyalgia coaching to real patients. This all happens with instructor oversight. During class, students use their real-life client situations to learn new information and new skills. It is the most effective way to learn these things by actually having to use them and do them. And just a reminder, that term, Certified Fibromyalgia Coach, that's a registered trademark belonging to the International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute. Nobody can call themselves a Certified Fibromyalgia Coach without completing IFCI's Certified Fibromyalgia Coach training. And why is that important? I think it's important to tell you why it's important. Fibromyalgia coaching is a unique style of coaching that I've created. It blends fibromyalgia-specific health education with life coaching and health and wellness coaching. When I talk on the podcast or in my books or when I'm speaking about working with a fibromyalgia coach, and then you decide to go out and look for one, you want to be sure you're getting the kind of coach I'm describing. That's why we protect that title, so only graduates trained in our process can use it. It would be like going out and looking for a specific type of massage therapy. You can't just say massage. You might not know what you're getting. Is it deep tissue? Is it myofascial release? Is it Bowen work? That title tells you what kind of treatment you're going to be receiving. By protecting that title, Certified Fibromyalgia Coach, you know if you see somebody using that, you're getting this specific kind of help. So that's it. You need to love and want to serve people. You need to care about doing things properly. You don't need to have your fibromyalgia all figured out, but you do need training to ensure you can help people in a way that isn't harmful. If you want the fibro knowledge but don't intend on working with people, the 3-month advisor program is perfect for you. If you are wanting to coach others, you'll need the full 15-month coach program. Pretty simple, right? Now, I want you to close your eyes for a second, if you can. I want you to imagine that we are climbing a set of stairs or the side of a mountain, going up a path on the side of the mountain in the dark. Each of us can only see just a step or two at a time with our teeny tiny flashlights. And since I'm further along, since I'm ahead of you on the staircase or ahead of you on the mountain trail, I can reach back and grab your hand and help guide you up those stairs. And while I'm doing that, you can also reach back and help someone else. You are not alone, and you can absolutely help someone else to not feel alone. The last thing I want to cover before I wrap up here is who makes a good coach? Who makes a good advisor? And what's the difference between the two? How do you know which one you're being called to? And some of this, of course, I've already covered, right? To be a good coach or an advisor, you've got to love the people you're helping. You have to serve with love. And the second thing, of course, is the details matter. You need to be passing along correct information and teaching people the correct things. Beyond that, some of the skills that make a great coach are being a good listener. Coaching is always more about asking good questions and listening to the answer than telling people things. If you want to be a good coach, you want to be positive and encouraging. A coach is often a cheerleader. We help our clients recognize and celebrate their successes, and we encourage them to keep going when they struggle. Now, I want to be clear here that I am not advocating a kind of toxic positivity that is in denial of the hard things in life. Fibromyalgia is one of those hard things. There will be bad days, there will be flares. And as coaches, we sit with our clients, we listen, we support them. And then when they're ready, we help them work towards better days again. We help them stay focused on what it is that they want so they don't get stuck on those days when things are hard or when bad things happen. A good coach also likes puzzles and problem solving. I know, I just told you to listen, right? But sometimes, as a coach, our jobs are also to put together the pieces of the puzzle. We actually talk to our clients more often than their doctors and providers do, which means we often get more of the puzzle pieces. And so we can see what might be going on in a way their providers can't. So when a client is struggling, our jobs as their coach is to help them figure out why and what they want to do about it. So we put those puzzles together. Which then leads me to intuition. Coaching is truly both an art and a science. Of course, you need to know the science, the fibro treatment, the research studies, all that stuff. But you also need the art of it. And your intuition is a big piece of that. During our coach program, we teach you how to follow that intuition with your clients and to help them get good results. And of course, if you're already a natural coach, this is for you. You know the kind of person I'm talking about, right? If you were the person your friends came to for advice or to talk through what was going on in their lives, you're probably already a coach. You just need to know how to be a fibromyalgia coach and provide fibromyalgia coaching. So, what about a certified fibromyalgia advisor? Well, if you're someone who wants to help at a nonprofit level, like leading a support group or helping clients on a not-for-profit basis, like maybe just having enough fibro knowledge to answer questions better when people come to you with questions, then you may not need the coach training, though it could be helpful. What you really need is the fibromyalgia knowledge provided in the advisor training. Same kind of thing if you're a health writer, a blogger, or podcaster, right? You want to know that fibro information. You want to have a good foundation of fibro knowledge, but you're not necessarily needing to learn how to coach people. You also wouldn't need the coach training if you're already a healthcare provider of some kind. Since so little is taught about fibromyalgia in your training, you may feel at a loss to help your fibro patients and clients effectively. We've had students who are nurses, massage therapists, counselors, and yes, I've even had doctors as clients. So if you plan on incorporating fibro knowledge into your existing practice, then you'll only need the advisor training. You don't need the coach training if you don't plan on actually coaching. And of course, if you're a patient and you just want to feel better, the advisor class is totally for you. It is absolutely the best way I know to improve fibromyalgia symptoms. Remember, cut in half in 3 months. That's huge. So whether you want to be a certified fibromyalgia advisor or a certified fibromyalgia coach, the first step is always the advisor class. This is where you learn all those fibro basics. There are classes on pain, sleep, fatigue, brain fog, nutrition, exercise, alternative therapies. Honestly, we cover everything we can. Everything from Western medicine, traditional medicine, pharmaceuticals, to alternative therapies, supplements, self-management practices. I purposefully keep these classes small so there is plenty of time for you to ask questions and interact with the rest of the class and with me. We are enrolling students right now for our next class, which starts in just a few weeks. So if you want to feel better, this is a great way to improve your fibromyalgia. You could feel very different in just a few short months. And if you want to help others feel better, this is also your first step. To be a certified fibromyalgia coach, you need to learn the fibro info first, and that information is in the advisor class. It's like getting your basic 4-year degree before you go on to medical school, right? The advisor class is that foundation for everything else that comes later. So to get more information, or if you want to go ahead and apply, just go to beafibrocoach.com. That's B, actually spelled out B-E, afibrocoach.com. In the next episode of this special series, I'll actually cover the why. Why does the world need people who are trained in fibromyalgia coaching? Why should you consider becoming a certified fibromyalgia coach? I'll even cover some of the benefits of being a fibromyalgia coach, like why my fibromyalgia wouldn't be in remission today if I was not a coach. I'll tell you more about that when I see you back here next time. And that wraps up another episode of the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm your coach, Tammy Stacklehouse. For daily doses of hope, inspiration, and practical advice, come hang out with me on Facebook. Visit facebook.com/fibrocoach to find my personal coaching page and connect with me directly. To find the show notes, additional resources, or to schedule a consultation with me or one of my coaches, visit fibromyalgiapodcast.com.